Good evening, viewers. Welcome again to my channel, Second Matter, the solution to your math problems. We are still solving past questions on core mathematics, WASSCE 2024. Theory question 7b. I read, the angle of elevation of the top of a tower from the top of a building, which is 5 meters high, is 30 degrees. So we can represent the first information on the diagram. So there are two key elements here. We have tower and then a building. And we know that a tower and a building will be erected on a level ground. So let's first of all draw our level ground. So we have our level ground. So this is our building. And this is our tower. It is clear that the tower will be higher than the building. Now, we were told that the height of the building is 5 meters. So the height of this building here measures 5 meters. So from the foot of the building to the top of the building, the height measures 5 meters. And then we're also given the angle of elevation from the top of the building. So before we measure the angle of elevation, there must be a horizontal line of sight. And then we know that angle of elevation is the angle above the horizontal line of sight. So the angle of elevation from the top of the building to the top of the tower measures 30 degrees. And then again, we're told that if on the horizontal ground, so this is the horizontal ground, the building is 40 meters away from the foot of the tower. What does that mean? The building is 40 meters away from the foot of the tower. This is the foot of the tower. This is the building. So it means that the distance between the building and the foot of the tower measures 40 meters. So this is a picture of the information given here. So now we see that the I part says we should illustrate the information on the diagram. Yes, that is what we have done. But I want us to illustrate it on a simple diagram. So in the simple diagram, we have our horizontal ground, and this will be our building, the height of 5 meters. This will be our tower. This is the horizontal line of sight. So the angle above the horizontal line of sight becomes the angle of elevation, which was given as 30 degrees. And then the distance between the foot of the tower and the building was given as 40 meters. So what will be the angle here? So here will be 90 degrees. Don't forget, here will be 90 degrees. So that is the I part. I said we should illustrate the information on the diagram. So that is what we have done. II, you have to calculate correct to 3 significant figures, the height of the tower. So where is the height of the tower? There is the foot of the tower and the top of the tower. So the full height here, that is what they are looking for. So let's name our diagram. So I'm going to name it as P, Q, R, S, T. P, Q, R, S, T. That is how we have named our diagram. Now, let's do some small analysis here. If line TS measures 40 meters, I want to be the length of line PR. So line PR will also measure 40 meters. Again, if line TP measures 5 meters, then line SR will also measure 5 meters. So if we see that for the full height of the tower, the full length has been divided into two. One part measuring 5 meters, and then one part giving us line RQ. So I'm naming line RQ as H to make the calculation easier. So now, why don't we find the length of H or the length of line RQ? So how do we do that? So we could see that from, let's focus on the triangle, this triangle. So from triangle, so how do we name this triangle? Triangle PQR. PQR. From triangle PQR. Don't forget that triangle PQR is a right angle triangle because one of its interior angles measures 90 degrees. So because it's a right angle triangle, let's identify the sides. We know that the longest side is the hypotenuse, and the side facing the acute angle becomes the opposite. So line RQ or H represents the opposite. So the remaining part becomes the adjacent. So line PR represents the adjacent. So now let's refer from SOHCAHTOA. We know our adjacent and we want the opposite. So each of them has adjacent and opposite. Adjacent and opposite, that is 12. So from triangle PQR, 12 says that the tan of the acute angle, in this case tan 30, is equal to the length of the opposite. So the length of the opposite has been represented as H divided by the length of the adjacent. We have our adjacent as 40. So tan 30 could be written as tan 30 on 1. So we can cross multiply. So we have 40 times tan 30. 40 tan 30. And this should be equal to 1 times H, which is H. So what is 40 times 30? 40 times 30. Have 23.09 is equal to H. Therefore, H is equal to 23.09 meters. Don't forget the units. So H is 23.09 meters. So we know H as 23.09 meters. But for II, we have to calculate the height the full height of the tower. So the full height of the tower, as we said, has been divided into two. One part is measuring 5 meters and then the other part is h, and then we had h as 23.09 meters. So what is 5 meters plus 23.09 meters? So this should give us 28.09 meters. But don't forget that we have to calculate correct to 3 significant figures. So how do we correct this to 3 significant figures? So there is the first significant number, the second significant number, and the third significant number. So we can round this up since 9 is greater than 5. So that becomes 28.1 meters. So that is the height of the tower. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching.